the Bronze Race and the Surface, placing the Indian in Latino society. The apparent presence of the Indian in official Mexican culture is very evident to foreign visitors, especially Latin Americans. The Revolution of 1910 has accorded to the image of the Indian a special privilege, that of serving as one of the major official symbols of nationalism. Here it is important to point out the ideological exaltation of the Indian, which has made his presence visible in the public sphere under state control. Art supported by revolutionary governments, especially between 1920 and 1940, had a very nationalistic character. It was, after all, necessary to go back to our roots. The popular nature of the revolution, much in evidence in those years, led the search for roots along the path of history until it reached the pre-colonial past. Upon its return to the present, the search for roots legitimized the culture of the nation. If not all of national culture, it legitimized those aspects that were easily appreciated: the bucolic life of the campesino, popular handicrafts, and folklore. In music, dance, literature, and plastic arts, the theme of the Indian provided the basic elements for shaping a vast nationalistic current under government patronage. Hundreds of square meters of murals adorn every type of public building in many cities of the Republic. Murals are in seats of government and public offices, in markets and hospitals, in schools and libraries, in factories and workplaces. In these murals, the image of the Indian is practically indispensable. Rarely is there missing some allegory about the pre-colonial world that frequently lays the foundation for or presides over scenes of the world of today or tomorrow. Brown faces with high cheekbones and almond-shaped eyes, along with the sacred political heroes, occupy the most prominent place in Mexican painting. The pre-Columbian codices seem to come to life again in the work of Diego Rivera to recount history in a different way in the terms of the Mexican Revolution. In this sense, the painters of the nationalist school played the role of a new Tlaquel, that ancient priest who for many years occupied the position of Cialcoatl, the gray eminence of the Aztec state. Tlaquel ordered the ancient books destroyed in order to paint new ones that would more adequately portray the history of the glorious Mexica, the people of the sun. Another favorite way of exalting the Indian roots of Mexico has been through museums, which exist in most state capitals and in many other cities. The best and most pristine example is the National Museum of Anthropology in Chapultepec Park, a privileged section of Mexico City. The architectural conception, in all its details, reflects an ideology of exaltation of the pre-colonial past. Simultaneously, and in a contradictory fashion, it expresses a rupture with the present. The proportions and the sobriety of the facade, the amplitude of the vestibule and the interior plaza, and the elegant magnificence of the finishes bring to mind in some ways the characteristics of Mesoamerican cities. However, they are treated in such a way that the effect also reflects the layout of Christian temples: an entrance with choir and lattice work, the vestibule of the museum, a great central nave, the patio, with lateral chapels, the exhibition rooms, culminating in the front altar, the Mexica room with the sunstone at its center. All the rooms on the ground floor of the museum are dedicated to archaeology, but each has a corresponding upper area. The major exhibition room, dedicated to the Aztecs, is the only room that does not have a mezzanine, and it is also larger than the other rooms. The top floor is composed of all the mezzanine rooms, and contains the ethnographic exhibits, the references to the Indians of today. Many visitors do not go through these rooms because of fatigue or lack of interest, both factors directly related to the layout of museum space. The words the visitor sees upon leaving, carved in the huge interior panel of the facade over the entrance doors, summarize the ideological message of the museum and the broader use the state has made of the pre-colonial past. In the greatness of the past, people find courage and confidence to face the future. Mexican, contemplate yourself in the mirror of that greatness. Foreigner, see proof here of the unity of human destiny. Civilizations pass, but humanity will always preserve the glory of others who struggled to build those civilizations. The Indian presence, as depicted in murals, museums, sculptures, and archaeological sites, all open to the public, is treated essentially as a dead world. Official discourse, translated into the language of plastic arts or museography, exalts that dead world as a seed of origin that gave rise to today's Mexico. It is the glorious past of which we should feel proud, which assures us a lofty historical destiny as a nation, even though the logic of that assertion may not be entirely clear. The living Indian and all that is Indian are relegated to the second floor when they are not ignored or denied. What is Indianness for the elites of the country? In what way is it present among the beautiful people? In general, no one in these strata claims any indigenous ancestors. To the contrary, the usual situation is an ostentatious claim of European lineage, of descent that has been maintained without mixture for generations. The old aristocracy looked to Europe for models of conduct and thought, but the middle classes of today have only to look to the other side of the northern border. Traditional culture of whatever background has no explicit place here. That which is Indian is sold as a unique image, which provides a touch of local color, an accent of the exotic to attract tourists. It has no real connection with our contemporary reality and our collective future. Disconnected from its roots, the middle class dances to whatever rhythm is played, without any desire to remember or any impulse to imagine. If the other is the Mexico Profundo, this is the surface, the superficial Mexico.